Hi everyone, Katarina here. Thank you so much for watching my video today. I'm going to show you how I made this lovely, beautiful double Z fold card. It's huge, it's a lovely special card. Now, this is not a card I had planned to make as a tutorial because these measurements and this foam fold is not my idea. This comes from Sam from Mix Up Craft, and she had made this a couple of years ago. The reason I made this tutorial because I had made a card like this for someone before, and they asked me again to make it with decorated with the teapots and the flowers and all, kind of like a tea party kind of theme. So that's why I decided to make the tutorial, because it's such a lovely idea and it might give some of you an idea who's struggling to come up with themes for some cards maybe. This is perfect for retirement, for birthdays. It really is such a lovely theme. So I can't really take credit for any of the measurements or the foam fold type. It all comes from Sam. What I can take a little bit of credit for, however, is this one. Let me show you. This is a very similar fold. Okay, so I just made this so I can link to this one below in the description box for you all. I have made a tutorial for this one. This is still a double Z fold. I've changed the measurements on this one. As you can see, it's a completely different fold. It's taller but shorter, and I also added a pocket. So in the pocket fits the little note card where you can add your message, or of course you can write it on the back if you wish, but this is how I changed the measurements. I think they are both lovely. I just made the other measurements because I was requested to make that one, and I thought it would be a shame not to record it on video because it's such a beautiful project. So for the card base we need two pieces of 12 by 6, and this is the little cardstock, the very pale pink that I'm using in here, and I'm going to score these at 3 and 6 inches. Turn it the other way, and again at 3 and 6. It's just because I'm folding it as a concertina. One will be going this way, one the other way, and fold and burnish the score lines. And we will need 2 of these. Okay, so I have 2 exactly the same in here. We will also need 4 pieces that measure 12 by 1 inch. On the 12-inch side I'm going to score at 6 inches and 9, and the same again on the other side, 6 inches and 9, and do these 4 times. Fold and burnish the score lines. And that's all for the card base. Now for the mats and layers I will walk you through as I am gluing them on, because there's quite a bit to add. Okay, so the card will be assembled this way. So this is the kind of a fold that you will be getting. And this is where I created the pocket on the other side. Obviously the measurements would be different on that one, but this is where I added. And here I'm going to pull this out a bit, and I'm going to glue it on top of each other, so there's no pocket, but this bit will be considerably longer than on the other card. Okay, so what I'm going to do in here, I'm going to measure in 3 inches. Grab a pencil on one of these from the edge, coming in 3 inches, and in here 3 inches, and this is the 2 lines where I'm going to line up this. This is how far I have to come in to glue these in, so there will be that 3-inch overhang in there. Of course you can make it bigger if you want. This is the size that I've used before from Sam's tutorial, so this is what I'm going to do now. So I know that only to add my glue past these 2 little dots that I just made there with my pencil, and I'm using my Cola glue. This is going to be nice and strong once it dries. Okay, just spread it out a bit. Don't want it to start oozing out. So I'm going to line this up with the 2 pencil marks and make sure it's sitting nice and straight. And that's it for the base. Now I would be gluing these bits on here, but once these are on the top and the bottom, it's kind of awkward to come in to decorate these two panels, so this is what I'm going to do. And the mats and layers that we will need for this one are 1, 2, 3 and 4. So the mats to which I use that holographic cardstock are 2 3/4 by 5 3/4, and the decorative paper that I've printed out from the collection are 2.5 by 5.5. So you will need 4 pieces of these, and I'm going to glue these on. Nice. I can feel it already getting nice, heavy and sturdy. Okay, so what I like to do next, come over to this side, and I'm going to have to glue this just up until that first score line in here. So I line it up on my grid line in here, and I'm gonna go down to 1 inch here, and just this is the bit that I'm going to add my glue to. Okay, so I'm gonna just give it a second. I'm gonna go down to the bottom bit as well. So again, 1 inch up, like so. And pull this in, stick it down. And the cola glue is nice and strong, but it just takes a little while to fully set. So I'm just going to give it a minute here, making sure it's pressed down nice and strong. And make sure it doesn't move. So the next bit is this last 3-inch flap. So when I glued this on, I started off with the 6-inch piece in here, so it's kind of opposite where the card is 3, 3 and 6. These bits are gonna be 6, 3 and 3 inches, okay? So the last 3-inch bit will be glued into there, and it kind of falls into place when you fold it down. So all you have to do is add glue onto the bottom part of this little flap. No, it's too much. And just fold it under and press it down. This is all you have to do in here, really. And the same on the other side, on the bottom bit. And just fold it under and press it down. Make sure it's nicely lined up with the bottom of the card and with the top of the card. Okay, so just give it a second to dry. So now we are going to add these bits to the other side as well, only this time I'm going to be starting from here. I find it easier this way because if I started in here and then glued it on there would be bulking in there. This here would start bulking up. This way is just easier to make sure that it will fold nice and flat for me. So I'm just going to add the glue onto the last 3-inch piece, and I'm going to glue it down in a way I can make sure that it folds nice and flat all together. I hope this makes kind of sense. And now you can see there's no bulking, everything is nice and straight. Okay, and I'm gonna do the same thing on the last one in here. Glue on the 3-inch bit and line it up, fold it nice and flat, just like so. Now what will happen when I fold this over And I'm adding my glue onto this last flap on the card base, again up to the 1-inch mark on my grid mark. I glue these two down. So now what happens, I can see that the bottom bit is perfect, but see on the top part, there's a little bit of an overhang. I hope you can pick that up on camera. It's because to avoid the bulking, this here pushed that bit out that much, so about, it's not even 1/8 or 1/16 of an inch probably just, so it really is not much at all. I just like to go in and tidy it up from the back with my scissors, just like that. It really is literally just a little hair. Okay, so I just like to remove that. Okay, so now we can decorate these 3 panels, and for the middle I'm coming in with that same polka dot one, and on the 2 sides I'm gonna come in with these roses designs. And these measure 2 3/4 by 3 3/4 and 2.5 by 3.5 for the pattern paper. Just keep making sure when I add new layers that it still falls nice and flat. Press it down if I need to. Okay, so I think it's this way. It doesn't really matter, it's not really directional, so it really doesn't matter. Just go this way. Okay, so we will need 4 pieces, of which I'm going to decorate these longer bits in here, and these measure 5 3/4 by 3/4 and 5.5 by half, and I have 4 of these cut and glued together. And I've prepared 6 pieces that measure 3/4 of an inch by 2 3/4, and the decorative paper is 1/2 inch by 2.5, and I'm going to glue these on all these pieces in here. Okay, so this is the card base decorated. It looks so gorgeous. I'm not sure how much my phone camera is picking up on the video, but it looks gorgeous, and it's quite a large card. It really is nice. As it is displayed in here, it would measure about 16 inches by 6 inches tall, but you can obviously pull it out a little bit more, push it in a bit more. So this is a real Manta pleaser, this card. I absolutely love this style. So now to decorate this, I've cut out 2 of these. I guess it's picket fence. Now I've cut this out on my Silhouette Cameo, just of white cardstock, and I added a bit of a color using this Distress Oxide ink, and this is the Tattered Rose. I absolutely love it. It's such a lovely soft color. And I've added double-sided foam strips onto the back of it, and I only added up until here because this is where it will stick to the card. Okay, there's no point adding any onto this bit because then it would just stick to the back of the card and you wouldn't be able to open it up. So I know from experience that is the first 5 I need to give this to. But I want to just say, I wanted to pick up chipboard kind of a fence for this, like, you know, real wooden looking one and all. And I did, but this is the case of, should have read the descriptions a bit better. They are tiny, really tiny. So this will have to keep for another project. Like, you see, even if I lined 3 up beside each other, it would still be wouldn't be tall enough at all. So I'm putting these back into the bag away for a future project, and now I'm just going to use these. But if you have any dies to cut these out with, just go with that. Now, and we are really on the last steps of decorating this. So I have a lot of these clip arts printed and cut, and some buntings as well. So I printed and cut them out of all different pieces of the design paper. I scaled them down to real small, the stripy polka dots, the teapot and the roses. They are really gorgeous. Now I've cut these again on my electronic die cutting machine, but if you have any dies like a triangle shape, go with it. Or I used to just hand free cut these before I got my silhouette. So it's really easy to adjust to any size at all. I'm going to pick out a few, and I back these up on a holographic as well. So I hope you can pick it up in there, and just add a bit of a hot glue dot behind it to glue them together. So I'm just going to take a piece of this thread, string, I don't know, and I'm just going to add a teeny tiny bit of glue on the two corners of this holographic cardstock. 1, 2. And I'm going to line up one end to it, kind of leaving it a bit loose, and arch it back to the other one, just like so. And now I'm going to start arranging these, and I think of these ones in here I can fit 6. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, 6 will fit perfectly. Okay, so that's there, the bunting's done. I just kind of mirrored the patterns onto the other side as well. Now it is down to decorating the fences, really. So what I like to use is flower and foliage, and then I'm going to use some of these clip art pieces that I cut out, like those little teacups and teapots in pinks and lilac shades. So I think these are just all so cute, really gorgeous. Not this big one, but yeah, there's the stacking teacups. I absolutely love them. It actually gave me an idea for a different card that I will be making soon. So the flowers that I'm using today are from Paper Craft Society box 41, and that's Chloe's Creative Cards. And this is the little flowers that I made. I made 3 for each side, one in pinks, one in the lilac purple, and one in the yellow shades. And I think they are just so cute. But I don't really get caught up on what flowers I use. The cards that I made before, I used completely different flowers, and sometimes it's daisies, sometimes it's roses. So it really what I'm in the mood for, or what's new in my stash. Right now this is what I'm enjoying. And also I took the dazzling foliage from Chloe's Creative Cards, and for this foliage in here, let's see if I can grab a piece of cardstock to show you better. I used Wow embossing powder, and that's Mermaid Tails, and I heat embossed it on acetate. And also these ones in here, which on acetate again heat embossed by Sea Mist, and again by Wow. Okay, the flowers I just, let's see, I actually have some leftovers here. I just added some ink to cardstock. Now I wasn't going to, now I wasn't focusing on ink blending at all. As you can see, it's quite blotchy and all. For this technique it really doesn't have to be very well blended. I just added a couple of shades of pinks, a couple of shades of purples, and a couple of shades of yellows to that one. I heat embossed then the smallest flowers from the set from the Society box in sparkling snow. Now you'd say, why did I use snow? But it's because I wanted something white and I wanted it sparkly. so that's what I went with, and I think it turned out absolutely gorgeous. So I heat embossed and cut out one layer in the inked up cardstock and one layer on acetate, and I just layered them up together, used a little bling in the middle, color coordinating ones, the pink and the gold, actually it is, but it looks yellow in there, from Chloe's. The purple one is from my own stash because I didn't have any purples in the bling boxes yet. Okay, so I'm going to add these flowers, arrange them, and add some of the foliage here and there, and then I'm going to choose some of these as well to add to the card. So I kind of like to mix up the colors a bit, so the lilac ones with the pink ones, and then the stacking teacups I will be adding in the middle in here with maybe some, one of these, it says tea time, it's a lovely one. So this is it all decorated. I hope you can pick up on all that shine and glitter. It's lovely. It really is nice. Now the last thing that I need to add in here is a little message. So what I like to do is add a bit of a glue. Take some of that same thread I used on the buntings, and I'm just going to fold it halfway, just like so. Now you can obviously stamp, print, write anything in there that you want. On this one in here that I showed you, I just heat embossed the Hello Friend. For this one, however, this one is a personalized, so I printed out Happy 70th birthday to my dear sister, and this is what I'm going to put in here. But before I do that, I want to rind the corners. And I'm going to add holographic cardstock behind this. So I'm going to take some double-sided tape. Now I could leave it like so, it's quite nice and interesting look, but what I like to do also is to draw in the corners on this one as well. But as I said, you can leave it nice and straight. It just gives you a very different look. I think that's lovely too. Okay, so that's it. On this one I'm going to use 2 layers of foam pads. With a piece of rhinestone just in there. That might be a bit too big. Let's see if the next size die works. Yeah. And so these here are from Chloe's Creative Cards, and these are the AB Shine ones, kind of ties in nicely with the holographic cardstock. And this is from the pink bling box. Okay, so I think that is just gorgeous, and it's all nice and ready, full of lovely shine and sparkle. There's a lot of room to write a message. This is where I'm going to print out a personalized message on a cardstock that will measure 5 3/4 by 8 3/4. So there's a lot of room to write a message in there. I'm gonna bring in the other one in as well. I don't know what I can fit on the screen though. Okay, so this one is the one that we just made, and this one is the other one with the pocket. Like you can see the size difference, how much taller that is. And this is the difference from when you're looking from up above in the sizes. So I will, as I said, I will link to the tutorial on this card in the description box below. Okay, so cards like this I like to make either a box envelope or a gift box, which I like to make it nice and sturdy, so it's like a keepsake box, and decorate it normally with gift tags. I will put up a picture or a short video when it's done. Okay, so I really hope you liked today's tutorial, and as I said, I will link to the description box below to the tutorial for this one. It's really stunning as well. I really hope you enjoyed today's video, and if you did, please give me the thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel if you're interested in lovely paper crafts, making lovely cards. I have more lovely tutorials coming up very soon. Until the next time, bye!